Like with anything else, when we're thinking about assessments, it's good to think about the why. The purpose for giving an assessment will determine how we approach the process. Are we assessing learning to see if the desired learning actually occurred? Are we using the assessment formatively to see if we need to adjust our direction based on our learning goals? Once we establish the why, we then need to think about the best method to gather the evidence. Maybe it's a performance task, or maybe it's something that can be measured with selected response items, or maybe it's something that is a combination of several methods. Ultimately, we need to address what learning targets or standards the assessment will hit. If it's something formative, it will likely be a limited list. If summative, it will be a much broader collection of standards or targets. When we talk about different types of assessments in this course, we want to make sure that we are clear about the terms we're using. If we wanted to compare assessment types to a health scenario, we could think about it like this. A formative assessment, something that gives you immediate information that you can act on, might be like the way we use a Fitbit, or a blood pressure monitor, or even a scale. If we have a health goal, we have a lot of options that will let us know how we're doing on a daily basis. If we look at something like a benchmark assessment, we could think about that like we think about an annual checkup. It happens on a scheduled basis, and while it monitors overall health based on averages for your age or gender, it doesn't necessarily occur because you have a health goal. Finally, if we are determining what learning happened, a summative assessment, with no plan to adjust anything immediately based on the results, it would be kind of like an autopsy. You can ascertain if learning happened or not, but the results will not be used to make any changes. The interesting thing about assessments is that the type of activity doesn't determine the type of assessment. A quiz works formatively or summatively. So how do you know the difference? There are two main things that distinguish one type of assessment from another: why it's being given and when it's given. If it is designed to support the learning during the learning process, it's formative. If it's designed to assess achievement after learning concludes, it's summative. And if it happens at specific points in a year to gauge progress at that time, it's an interim or benchmark assessment. The thing is, you can use Schoology for all of these types of assessments. After establishing our why, we should also be thoughtful about the types of methods that best match the learning target type. According to Rick Stiggins in the Perfect Assessment System, there are 4 types of learning targets: those that encompass content knowledge, those that address reasoning and problem solving, those that are target performance skills, those that focus on product creation and development. The thing is, not all learning target types should be assessed in the same way. Selected response and constructive response learning assessment types are very good at addressing content knowledge and reasoning or problem solving. A performance assessment can measure reasoning or problem solving, performance skills, and product creation, but it isn't the best fit for content knowledge. Personal communication can best measure content knowledge, reasoning and problem solving, and verbal performance skills, but it isn't the best match for product creation or performance skills that fall out of the verbal category. Again, you can do all of these in Schoology. It just depends on what you want to measure and how. How can you do different types of assessments in Schoology? We have several ways to support assessment types in the same platform you're already using for teaching and learning. At a course level, you can use test quiz or course assessments, discussion boards, and assignments. Those work well if you only need to look at data by section. All of those can be aligned to standards and even graded on a rubric if you're assessing more than a single standard. If you need to look at data across sections or schools, or disaggregate data by groups like ethnicity or gender, the Assessment Management Platform, or AMP, is the platform solution designed to meet that need. Assessment teams can build test banks collaboratively, manage those assessments across a system, and measure results across that system. Still wondering about the difference between course-level assessments and the Assessment Management Platform? Think about the data. While there are things they have in common, like aligning to standards, providing rubrics, AMP is about a system-level approach to assessments, from creation to deployment to the data. In this course, like ongoing professional learning, we're looking at the 7 categories from Learning Forward. As you go through the course, you'll see these adapted standards in the IC maps and in Mastery, which will help you see if there are specific areas of focus for your district after taking the diagnostic. For those who have taken the ongoing professional learning district success route, you will recognize these standards. Learning Forward did such a good job in thinking through the standards for ongoing professional learning, we have adjusted them to support assessment and feedback in this module. There are 7 standards to proper assessment and feedback: learning communities, resources, learning designs, outcomes, leadership, data, and implementation. We highly recommend going to the Learning Forward website to get a deeper understanding of each of these standards, as it will help you with your future modules. Now that we have an understanding of the 7 standards for this module, let's review where you are for each of those standards. In the next section, you'll get an understanding of innovation configuration maps, what they are, how to read them, and ultimately how to customize them for your district.